Hello YouTubers, Troz here, back with more Satisfactory. Um, the update that I talked about last time that was then pulled is out again, but, well, there was bad storms here, and while I do have power, I am currently lacking internet. I did download the update before we lost internet, and I'm playing it, but that was me standing over there. I didn't have any inventory when I logged in, so I'm not sure if that's a side effect of the update or a side effect that I don't have internet right now, and normally like it creates an internet session when I start playing. Not that I've had anyone join. I have my game set to friend only. I had someone join once, but I basically didn't use that save because I kind of just showed him around and did a few things. So I'm wondering if that's like because I don't have internet, it couldn't like connect me to the same character. It's a little worrying because I think I had like 2 or 3 hard drives on that other character that's standing there, and I don't see I have any way of accessing his inventory. So I've done some work here, and actually I hope to do more work before this episode. Like, I'll show you what I've done, and I'll do some more work, and then show that off near the end of the episode. I'm actually kind of wondering where my train is going right now. Let's actually head over to oil, because I've done a lot of work there. Yeah, this is the update that you can set how often the saves occur. Which should now be set to like every 15 minutes or so. Okay. You see the trains are still broken? Yes, if you go into options now, under gameplay, saving interval, it's hard to set it. You can't actually type a number, at least it didn't seem to work for me. So I have in mind set to 16 minutes, so that'd be like only a third as often. So we'll see how that works out. Hopefully that won't get in the way of doing these videos as much. A little stuttery there, I guess this is loading the terrain or whatever. Yeah, so I have the second floor of my factory mostly done, and I've completely built up the oil production to where I need it, and we're heading over there now. Well, while we go over there, 'cause this should be completely fine. Really, please be fine. Thank you. Where? So this is the plan we're going for. 28 fuel rods per minute, which should be enough for like 140 nuclear reactors, or 3 times or 5 times that amount, since 1 fuel rod lasts 5 minutes at full usage. So oil, we're gonna need like 943 a minute, all of it being converted into rubber, and then what is this, like almost 600 goes to high-speed manufacturers, about 300 will go to the crystal oscillators, and just about 70 will go to circuit boards. We're using alternate recipes for the circuit boards, I think, actually for all of them. So that's, yeah, 943 a minute. Previously, we were only doing 300 a minute with this earlier plan, which is not really laid out right. But yeah, 287 a minute. So we had each of these does 30 rubber a minute. So we had 10 of them, and here's the original 10. Here's what I've added on. There's now 2 more rows of 10. That would give us 900, and that's not quite enough. So yeah, the 10 is, these are normal nodes, and a normal node overclocked to 250% will get you 300 a minute. So that's 1, 2, 3 normal nodes. But we need a little more. So we got an extra 3 here. So we're actually producing 990. And they should be loading on to 3. Here was the original cargo loader. And we have 2 each. 2 additional ones, I should say. So each will get 330 a minute. And while they're all full right now, I don't have the train coming over here. Well, train's not supposed to be coming. When I load in the game, I think it does, but 330 a minute, you know, and the train holds 4 of these rows, so it's like 2, 4. I only have to have the train coming like every 6 minutes. Maybe, probably even 10 minutes can fit in a train. So we definitely, the train is only, well, it's stopping here. It should be stopping at the one stop that we passed through, the iron and copper, which is called Nuke Mats 1, and then back at our nuclear power plant. So it should definitely be able to make that trip every 5 minutes. So we have plenty of overhead. Yeah, so this took a bit of work. We previously actually had 2 different, this production and that production. One had 2 overclocks in it to do 240. I think one had 1 for another 120, which was way over the 300 we needed, and that was kind of merged in here. But now each of them, if I did it correctly, should be fully overclocked. Let's make sure. Yeah, so this is up to 250. Why do you say 180 per minute? You probably haven't produced any since, because yeah, you're still feeding the original. Like if I take, you know what, I can't take a barrel because like I'm a new person, I'm like, all right, I have to get all materials manually. Let's take, yeah, alright, that's saying 300 now. I'm not gonna need these, so let's just drop these here, pick these back up. So that is 300 a minute when it actually produces. This should be 300 a minute. Then we have 1 back here. Yeah, so this one feeds like that row of 10, and then we have 2 actually back here. 1 feeds the other row of 10, which is this one, obviously. And you're at 300 per minute. And then this one, and basically one other, is providing the oil for the rest of my factory. So this one is overclocked twice to 240, and actually this one we split off and come up here just to do the extra 90 a minute for these three over here, and each of these then, well, let's go up there and show it. I have actually a nice ramp over here because actually that's a little too tall to fly up. I even picked all these nuts, and they're still on my old character, whoever the guy who was standing on the platform at the beginning. And I've looked in, like, there's manage session, and that's not really my name, but there's, hey, only one person showing up. Anyway. Yeah, so there's 10 here. Basically just using manifold splitting. This one is coming up here. Like I said, this other side comes up at that corner. Then here's the three others, and basically we just have a belt that merges in here. This is a Mark IV belt, so this can hold 450. We have 300 on it, and this is another 30 per minute come in, so definitely still under the full amount here. So we have two here. They go to these two belts, and then this one heads across and merges in there to go to this. So each is getting 330 a minute. So that's oil production. Not that we're going to use it, not that we're currently needing it, but we might need it for the next floor. So let's head back to our nuclear power plant. Let's turn on our light because it's getting dark. And well, all the all the cars are currently right near the nuclear power plant, so if I get stuck on top of one, it's not a big deal. Last time I was playing, a few of the cars were like stuck in this station or near this station, and when I would come through here, occasionally I would get stuck, and the train I was riding on would just go into the distance, and I have to walk the rest of the way. So that wasn't too fun, but yeah, it seems like the trains are still an issue. At least the way the switches are currently working. Cars may go one way when the train goes the other. If there's another train that switches the switch as the first train is going through it. Hopefully that will be fixed in an upcoming patch. Alright, so it's probably a bit hard to see, but we got the whole second floor set up. It's not, I don't have all the belts in yet, and it's not all connected to power. But alright, let's just, there we go. Because you're not even going to stop here. For some reason, he's going back to the main station and turning around. Because for some reason, he doesn't think this turn is valid, even though there's, like, hey, cars on it. Or at least, maybe it only thinks that turn goes then into here, and this straight only comes from there. I mean, that could be it. It just doesn't think. It thinks the only way to get to there is coming from there. Alright, let's show off this second floor. The first floor I showed off last time. We're basically producing iron wire, and then we're also smelting up copper and deuterium ingots. Not all of the iron is going to iron wire, but a lot of it is. Okay. I guess here's as good a place to start as any. This is okay. We got this steel ingots, or supposed to be steel ingots. I don't have the belts in yet, so the one, probably the bottom belt will be the iron that we didn't use for iron wire, and then the top will be for coal. Let's. Well, not you in particular, but it says here this is going to be about 320 iron and about 640 coal a minute. This will all fit on one line if we use the Mark V conveyor belts, so that is great. Most of the steel will be going to steel pipes. We need just one constructor of steel beams. Or two. So if we head back to Satisfactory, there we go. So we'll have all of these connect up here, and hopefully, if I plan this all out correctly, we'll have this come and go into here, and here are our 40 some odd. Let's check out specifically our 41 steel pipe. There's quite a few here. Let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we got 28 here. And then there's another few over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So another 14 here. I don't think that adds up correctly. I think I might have over... Okay, that is 42. Alright, so that is kind of the right amount. The only thing I don't have is the 2 or 1.1 for steel beams, but that will easily fit right here. Has it been 16 minutes already? It actually might have been. So we'll have the steel come through the middle here. It's then going to have to go on a belt down here and go in here to, well, provide to the rest of these, but we're also going to have to split it, and I'll have to put in like 2 more manufacturers here, making the beams, and then all the pipes will come back. Well, we have basically 4 rows, or 3 rows. Yeah, because I actually set it up so that it'll be on the outside here, then both sides here, and then on the outside here, and we'll have to merge that all together somehow. And meanwhile, I'll sneak in here the 2 more constructors for the beams. Meanwhile, again, I didn't quite finish this. I'll be doing that real soon now. Here we have the Caterium wire production, and or quick wire production. This gets split and goes to 3 sources. I may have to do something. Oh, the steel pipes are basically all of it goes to stator assemblers except for like one Mark 1 belt. So that's not really an issue. This will all fit on one belt, and then we just peel, a Mark 5 belt, and we just peel off, Mark 1 belt. The quick wire is going to be a problem because, like, it's 15 copper and 7, and you get like 60. So, like, both of these will fit. I mean, this will fit on a Mark 3 belt. This will fit on a Mark 5, but then we got like 2,000 going here, 200 going here, and 800 going here. So this is, well, it's 2 Mark 4 belts, with even not completely full. Going over here is a Mark 3 belt, but this is going to be like 3 Mark 5 belts, and that's quite a lot. So I'll have to figure out a good way of splitting it up. But again, we're going to do the copper and yttrium are going to come up here. And... oh. Alright, hey, with me on. So I'm going to have them... we have the yttrium here, the copper there. The one will go up. We'll have a window here. I just had trouble getting like a belt in between the window and here, so I'm just going to put this in first, and then we'll get the window in. And yeah, you can, with the belts, with the splitters stacked, I should say, and right in the middle, the belts don't have a problem. They'll connect up, and so we can do stack splitters rather than like I had offset splitters before, and that just putting them stacked is a lot easier, and then I just connect them down the row. And the splitter here is so we have half going to this side, and the other half will come over to this side and do the same thing. This is just leftover from what actually was on the second floor before was some pipe manufacturers, and there was just conveyor belts full of pipes, so I put them all into this chest storage. Theoretically, I have pipe, and we have a limestone miner right over there, so we could theoretically make our own Mark IV belts here rather than going back to the base. To me, Mark IV belts right now are a nice combination of throughput and ease of making. Like, hey, we're gonna have tons of pipe. Well, I mean, we have tons of pipe. We're gonna have tons of pipe real soon. It's just the concrete we don't have set up quite yet. But yeah, so I'm gonna work on this a bit more. I might come back. Well, I'm definitely gonna come back in this video. Whether that's going to be today for me or not is up in the air right now. We will see. It might turn out to be tomorrow because I'm hoping to get this all belted up. I'll definitely come back for turning it on, but then we may do a second floor as well. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, I am back. I have everything wired up and belted up. But I noticed something I forgot. They added more things onto the compass at the top. making it more cluttered, but they are also allowing you to make it less cluttered. Those things have also been added to the map, so let me hit the map button here. And so now it's showing... Come on, you were showing a tooltip just before. Yeah, here we go. Train stations. Some of them... Okay, yeah. If I hover a little longer, it shows you what their contents is, and this is a truck station. This one doesn't have any fuel, but like... there's a truck station over here. This is the older oil truck station. That one does have fuel. It shows you the type. You can then also click this show menu, and you can hide or show different things either on the map or on the compass at the top. Speaking of maps, let's briefly go to the one interactive web map. So here's the site, satisfactory-calculator.com. And you can drop your save file on here, and it will like draw on the map all your railroads and buildings and everything, like these dark pink, purpley are our railroad tracks. This is our nuclear power plant here that we're working on. Here's the okay. Here's the platform where we're getting the sulfur from. Here's our quartz. This is where we're getting the iron and copper. Actually, that's deuterium. Copper. There's a copper. Oh, it's under there. So we have 2 train platforms, and etc. Here's where our oil is. You can see the extra oil that we put in. But they recently added a feature that shows statistics about your build. So here we have, like, we're producing 11,561 copper per minute, but we're only currently using 8,458 of that. So we have a surplus. If you can see, there's a little line here in the middle. That's where your production exactly meets your usage. We almost have that for coal. We're just a few off. You'd rather be producing more than you're using, though. Here we're not producing quite as much copper as we are attempting to use, but I believe that's taken account for. There's a few places where we're trying to, like, the way we've planned things out, we need to smelt, you know, let's say, 25.1 smelters worth of copper. So we're bringing in exactly that amount, or very close to that amount of copper ore, but it, this is counting, oh, you should be, smelting 26 instead of 25.1, and so the want is a little higher than what we are actually producing. For the most part, we're producing a lot more than we're using, or very close. Plastic seems a little low. I'm not quite sure why that is. One thing that is quite low here is like the crystal oscillators, but that's because the way we planned our second factory is we're producing enough crystal oscillators for all the supercomputers we're producing, or we're producing enough crystal oscillators for all the Nobelisk detonators that we're producing, but we can't do both at once, or at least not at full efficiency. So, like, yeah, we can produce 71.25, but if we wanted to run everything, we need 120. So we're, we can run one or the other, but not both. Kind of the same with the all-clad aluminum sheets. Hey, we just have these only at our initial factory, currently, and it's being used by the turbo motors and by batteries. But we're, we don't really have enough to run both at full. But the first factory really is just to test out how to set up the new production then we go to our second factory to do the real production. Not sure why it says we can't or aren't producing biomass. We do have machines set up to produce biomass. There's just no way to supply them automatically, so maybe that's what the issue is. And then they have other tabs for here's how much of different items you have stored, and then kind of how much different fuels you're using for power. I'm not sure what these go up to, like what is the maximum. If we're using 312 granite, let's say that kind of looks halfway. I'm sure you can produce a lot more than 600 fuel per minute, but yeah, I just not sure where these come from. The one thing to see here is we are currently producing almost 19,000 megawatts, but we could be drawing almost 30,000 megawatts if every machine was on. Fortunately, every machine is not on yet, and hey, we're producing this nuclear power plant here for a reason, so that we can run all the machines at once. Not that I think my computer would survive that. So let's go back to the game. Apparently I've been playing for 4 hours, so I shall ensure my daily dose of fresh air is met. So let's turn these machines on. We're going to start over here. We're going to start over here with the Caterium, or the quick wire, because that's only the quick wire. That's the only thing it supplies. Basically, we don't use this or consume it yet. We do need this going to 3 different processes. And the one process will use, well, it'll use this, but it needs 3 of the machine's worth. So we'll use this belt, and we're going to split this belt on whatever floor we wind up using it. We need another process that needs 800. Well, this is a Mark V. It can carry 780. It's hooked up to 8 of these. Each of these produce 90, so that's 720. So it's going to use the other half of this belt, which is 2 machines. So we'll get another 90, which will bring it up to 810. We only need 800, so that's great. So we split this. Half goes to this belt, half goes to this belt. I mean, technically, half that goes to this belt can't fit on this belt, but it will go with this belt to whatever process. And that's the 2 processes, and then the third process needs about 2,000. Well, we have 3 of the Mark V belts here. Again, these are only hooked up to 8 machines each, so they'll actually have 720, but 720 times 3 is, well, it's over 2,100. We only need 2,050-ish, so that will be plenty. The belts do look like they're going backwards, at least these Mark V ones, but it's just the wagon wheel effect with my frame rate. So let's get this going. We have everything powered. All we need to do is bring in the materials. They should be right down here. So we were smelting the Caterium here. We were smelting the copper over there. The copper is just coming over here. The copper is on a Mark V. It's 500 some odd copper ingots, where the Caterium is exactly half that, at 250, 60-ish. So, we'll do a Mark V there, and this should be the easy and go right there, and that will hook everything up. We'll then get a Mark IV belt just to be sure, and this will take, oh, not belt, that's Mark IV lift. Come on. There we go. That goes through there, and if I'm lucky now, I can... Well, I'll figure out how to fix that some other time. As you can see, we have the materials going in. These should be producing... Okay, and I got here just as they started producing. And since this takes so little items, these actually should make it quite the way down. Yeah, you can see, definitely those are going the right direction. Okay, I was going to say they're just disappearing, but... So we haven't quite made it all the way down here yet, but those will back up relatively quickly. So we're getting the 3 belts that way, and then the 3 belts this way. I didn't really show this off, but the 3 belts actually are going to a 3 belt window. I'm kind of doing the same thing down here. You can see the center belt goes to a center window, and then I have a dual port where the kind of middle one is going to the right, the bottom one goes to the left. So we can have a 3 window wall wherever we wind up using these, and have that all connect up properly. Ooh, I am out of fuel, which I didn't really realize. You know, let me cut here, and I'll be right back with some more fuel. Okay, I am back. I have plenty of fuel now for my jetpack. So let's connect up the coal, which I have coming in from the coal station that is over there. It kind of runs in the floor below over to this corner where it meets up with the iron ingots that we aren't turning into copper wire. So this is the coal. We need about 520 coal a minute, so we're using a Mark V belt there. And this is just, well, it's half of that. So we have the first 3 of these fed by the 520 belt, because they need like 45 a minute, and after that then it also drops to the Mark IV 480 belt, because it will be way under that. So yeah, here we are. We are producing the steel ingots. They come down here, and I guess at this point I transfer them to a Mark V belt from a Mark IV belt. Because yeah, there's 500 some odd per minute. Then they come here, where we start producing steel pipes, and that's going into a manifold on both sides here. And in fact, that should come all the way down and connect up here. After they connect, they're also on a Mark V belt. But we should eventually, after all of these back up, because they only take 15 per minute, but we gotta wait for all these to stock up like 100 before we'll get many going down here. We'll split off for down here, and we should have just enough left over to come and be fed into these 2 here. These are the 2 steel beam. We need just 11.2 of these per minute to make beacons, which are needed in the alternate nuclear fuel cell recipe. But luckily we don't need that many a minute. So this line is all backed up, even though these aren't getting that many yet. Actually, partially because not all of these are running yet, because these have to back up as well. This probably only ran once or twice at this point, as it's waiting for the steel ingots to back up. Alright, looks like the steel ingots have maybe made it. Alright, this one's almost backed up. And this is like, not quite halfway down. This one probably has, yes, this has reached 100. So it'll take just a short time, and these will all back up, and once they have, everything can then run at peak efficiency. You can see the occasional gaps here. Now, why that look like? Okay, it looked like it was stopped. It's probably just an optical illusion related to the frame rate everything is running at. Like these here are probably okay. We're not close to backing up yet. For here, yeah, like this has to hit 100 and this has to hit 100. It does look like we're getting in a bit more than we're. This is gonna probably. They're probably gonna hit 100 about the same time, actually, from the looks at it. Before we can get everything running at 100%. Alright. There is still time, I think, in this episode. So I'm gonna build the next floor. I'm not really sure what I'm going to build. Well, I know what I'm gonna build. I'm gonna build this. I'm just not sure which part of it. We have the quick wire. I mean, basically the next step is either use the pipe, which is mostly for stators. We do have the wire all set up for that, so maybe we can do that. Or, hey, we've got quick wire. So maybe it would be smart to build what that builds next, which would be high-speed connectors, and this would have to be in the large manufacturers. And AI limiters, which need circuit boards. Circuit boards, we also do have, or should have, everything. We have the wire, and we are bringing in rubber, so that may be what we'll be doing. Well, I'll see you in a moment, and we can find out together. Okay, I'm back. It's actually 2 days later for me. I do have my internet back, and I've mostly completed the third floor. It's just hook up all the inputs. I do think the issue of the cloned me was internet related, because when I started, once I had the internet back, I was at the train station where the first clone was, but now I have all these new clones here. So that's a little weird. I don't think I'm getting any more of them. Let me just pick up a few materials here. and let's go on to getting this third floor running. So I decided. Well, let's look at the little display here. We're using the deuterium, the copper ore, the iron ore, the coal. We basically got this done. We have this done. This done. We got wire done. Steel, the pipes, and technically we have crude oil and rubber done, and we have these beams done. So we have like most like that part done, and wire. I mean, I could drag wire up here, but then like, hey, the lines cross more stuff. But so to get a little more of the top done, I decided, hey, we have these other two raw materials here. We can make silica, and almost, well, this will take a whole floor by itself. So with the silica, we can't really fit that. But then from the wire, we just need 2 assemblers to get circuit boards, 3 assemblers to get AI limiters, and then we need 14 manufacturers to get crystal oscillators, and that would like almost everything over here except the high-speed connectors. So that's what I tried to do. We weren't completely successful in that I do have all the silica being made. I do have all the circuit boards being made, because, I mean, that's dead simple. I do have the AI limiters being made, but I could not fit 14 manufacturers. But what I did fit was 9 of them, so we'll have another 5 on the next floor. But yeah, all of that is here. There was one. What did I miss? I missed something. Oh, the raw quartz also makes quartz crystals, and that's on this floor. Because they're needed for this as well. So, here are 32 assemblers that will make silica. Each makes 67.5 per minute. They're being split into 3 separate belts. Really, they go to 2 different places. So we have, I believe it's 9 machines that go here, and this will eventually go to the uranium fuel cells. Then we have 23 machines, of which I'm basically splitting onto 2 Mark V belts. That is also a Mark V belt over there. But how does... Yeah, we have one... we basically put 11.5 and 11.5. So this one is split left and right. Then we just combine them all this way for one belt. The ones over here then come and join the ones over here. They all get merged together here. Should fit on Mark IV belts until we merge it onto a Mark V. I hope. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I'm gonna be safe and convert all of this to Mark V, because I think it's 7. After 7, we need a Mark V belt. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the 7th one. Yeah. One early just to be sure. Alright. Yeah, we'll get into that in a minute. So this is... well, a little complicated. And Yes, we'll have enough fuel. So this is the station over here where we're bringing in the quartz crystal. And we also have sulfur, but we're not using that yet. So these are on 700 or the 780 belts. We're going to be using. Oh, let's double check. Oh, uh, just about 1500. Oh, no. Let's. I have the calculator out here. 9. Where were we looking? 31 and no, plus 15 and 5, 23. Yeah, 1450-ish. So we have two 780 belts. They can handle it. It's just close. Hopefully, the train can make its rounds before we run out. We need about half as much. Actually, less than half as much, because only the amount that we're turning into silica. So we need a 480 belt of limestone. So we have over here a Mark III. I've overclocked it to 200%. I'm just building a little concrete on site so I don't have to keep going back to my main base. But this will be a full 480 belt. It comes around here. And then comes over here and meets the quartz crystals. Okay, so we have the 3 belts of materials coming in here. 2 of them are the Mark V belts, that's the quartz crystals, one's a Mark IV. We have to bring them up to about here, and then the quartz crystals plug in there, and the limestone goes right in there. So let's do that now. I think what I'm going to do is have that aim out like that. Not wrong. We'll then do the limestone to there. Oh, can't afford. Okay, I will be right back again with some more aluminum plates. Okay, I have that lift in now, and we can begin to hook the rest of this up, hopefully. That's the limestone. We now need the Mark V belts. You're gonna go in this first window. I'm gonna... Alright, I'm not gonna worry about that belt. It's gonna encroach the other one a little bit, but there's no easy way to route it through here without it overlapping a bit. Oh wow. Here's our silica already. Ooh. So the quartz and limestone are coming down. The one belt of quartz supplies 24 of the machines. The other belt supplies the remaining 8. And then comes down here, where we turn the quartz crystals, or the raw quartz, into quartz crystals. And those will then later come around and go to these manufacturers that will be producing the crystal alternators. But we need the other materials. And the first things we need are the AI limiters, but they need circuit boards. So let's get those under production. Let's land here before we kill ourselves. And I believe that's a Mark II belt, so let's use a Mark II lift. And the Mark II lift comes here where we get our copper wire. It connects right up there. The other thing this needs is rubber. Now, I've modified the lower train here to have 3 cars of rubber. And we just need something on the order of 67 a minute. So we're going to have a Mark IV belt. Come on. We're just splitting off a Mark II belt, so that's even more than we need. The rest of this will go to something else. We also have here another Mark IV belt, but that it won't be used at the moment, but it will be used for making those crystal oscillators. So we have the rubber coming in along here. Yeah, so these need 60 per minute. Hey, we got a Mark II belt. That's exactly how many it needs. And then once we have the rubber, we'll start producing circuits over here. There, it's a little clearer. In fact, this will be producing more circuits than we need. So technically we only need 1.1 of these. I could have overclocked one, but why overclock when you can have 2? So this should be running momentarily. There we go. So we'll be producing circuit boards. The other thing we need for the AI limiters, here should be coming the circuit boards. Yeah, the other thing we'll need is quick wire. And, well, we need quite a lot of quick wire. Well, about a Mark III belt's worth. We need technically we need 2.6 times 90, but we'll be supplying exactly 3 times that. Now, if you remember in the first half of the episode, which for me is actually a few days ago at this point, Let's land here. We had one 270 belt. Actually, two. One here. Then this one should be split in half, and half will go with this, but this belt's already full, and the other half needs to be merged into this belt. This is actually the output of two, right? Yeah, two of these machines. So each of these machines do 90. So that's only 180 on that belt. So I have, this is the belt we want to split in two. It comes up, it goes into a splitter. Half will go off into something that's, I just put this kind of belt here to remember, hey, that's where we're pulling off from. This is the belt we want to add the other half to, so here we have it coming in, it's merged, goes up here, and now we just have to belt it all the way down to where we need it. So let's do that. There we go. And heck, we might as well ride it while we're got the opportunity. So this comes all the way down, does a bit of a turn, because for some reason it wouldn't curve and go down, so I had to do a go down and then curve. But we should be now producing AI limiters at, well, almost 15 per minute. I think we only need like 11 or something to that effect. So these will, yeah, combine here onto this belt and go over here, and we need like 0.9 a minute. Now the problem is this is gonna stack up 100, so this is one point where using a manifold like this, where this machine will get the most fed and then etc., we'll move on down, where it will take a long time for this to fully back up properly. In fact, hey, we only have 9 of these machines, we need 15, so yeah. Well, the rest will be on the next floor in the next episode. But the other thing this machine needs is rubber. And as I pointed out before, we have this other rubber line coming up. So we only need a Mark IV belt worth. Come on. You're not gonna hook in? Actually, we need less than a Mark IVs. We need, well, we're supplying each of these boxes, well, actually the ones below, with about 330 rubber per minute. I think we need 310. Anyway, this should, well, as soon as we get enough rubber, start producing just about 3 a minute. And here we go. Due to the limited space, like, these belts would go directly in, with just like a bend, or, well, straight there. But I had to use a conveyor lift here. So I actually stuck the conveyor lift on the input, had, turned it, and it was the exact right height where this just curves in nicely. This one should be running as well. And yeah, this is all pretty good. Now, the next one won't be running because it probably hasn't gotten an AI limiter yet. Come on. I guess this is saving lag. I did turn that down to every 15 minutes or so. Yeah, this doesn't have one yet. Hey, but it's all full up on quartz and it's almost full up on rubber, so yeah, that I think will about do it for this episode. I've probably gone a little long. I'm not even sure at this point. Um, but we're closer to where we want to be. We have uh, nearly all of the raw materials being used. The only raw material I don't think we're using yet. No, there's two we're not using yet: the uranium and the sulfur, and they get used together. So they're going to be at the end, 2 or 3 floors up from here, um, to keep the radiation as far from the ground as possible. But we got silica. We got most of our crystal oscillators, and we're well on our way to getting this nuclear plant done. So I'd just like to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time with some more Satisfactory. See you then.